Hello, Cosmic Soul family. Ella Ivy here with Lives on Astrology, and I wanted to pop on and do a weekly 7-day forecast for the upcoming currents of energy that we all find ourselves in right now. For those of you that are new to the channel, thank you so much for being here. I try to come on here weekly, or I don't like to say weekly, for every 7-day cycle to talk about the energies, to talk about just some of the currents that we might find ourselves in. Talk some astrology for, again, I'm looking at, let me go ahead and change here because I have it on. I'm going to be sharing some information, maybe some stuff that you haven't heard about as far as the Mayan calendar system. If you're new to the channel, we like to talk about an integrative approach to astrology, right? So we look at the astrology transits that are happening. But we also, what I do is called the layering effect. So I look at lots of different peripheries of energy forms to see how this energy is all encompassing, especially for the energy astrology. But we're also going to be looking at the Mayan calendar system. And we're going to be looking right now, we have what's called, we're in the middle of a 10-day gap wave spell. And what gaps are in the Mayan astrology, they're called Galactic activation portal days. And there's 52 of them in a 260-day cycle per the Mayan calendar system. And so right now we're in the middle of this 10-day gap, and I can show that to you. And again, how we're going to layer the astrology on top of it. Also, we're going to be looking at the next 7-day cycle of the energies that are happening astrologically and layer it with this gap cycle that we're on right now. And it's happening till, I believe, April 4th, because it's 10 days and we're in the middle of it. So let me just go ahead and show you what it looks like. So this right here, if you guys can tell, this I got off of my app, the 1320 Tolkien calendar system. And it's by Jose Magulas that kind of redid his own interpretation of this process of the Mayan calendar. And so there's a whole process to it. And guys, if you're into the Mayan calendar system or you want to learn more about it, I would invite you to check out the app 1320 Sync, SYNC. So 1320 Sync, and it goes really into this whole Mayan wave spell and the processes of it, and you know how it's come up with mathematically, and what the Mayans have been saying about these. They call them wave spells here. See, the way it sees energy is like a current, like a form, like a wave that repeats itself, like a pattern, right? Just like we look at astrology, it's a pattern. So today, I wanted to show you this right here. Every little dark square is representative of a gap day. And we said per this system, there's 52 gap days in a year. But twice a year, they go what's called on a 10-day gap run. And you can see, so the way this is done like a spell, so it starts from the first, second, third, it goes all the way down. And just think of like a snake going up and down, up and down. Well, right now, the energy we're at, 111, again, looking at the synchronicities, we're right in the middle of this gap spell of the first 10-day spiral, right? So you can see here that it almost looks like a human, like here are the hands, or here's like the antenna, here's the body, here's the legs, right? Here's the arms. So what it's talking about today is we're in this particular wave spell, and I'm going to go ahead and backtrack it here. This is what today's energy is. It's called the blue Resonant Monkey. So just listen to the symbols and just what it means. Again, there's always interpretation. This is just the energy that's represented by the colors, the symbols, right? How the energy moves. So we're on wave spell 9, Red Serpent, which denotes life force, survive, and instinct. And again, if you want to learn more about this, I would invite you to check out the app 1320. It goes more into detail about what all these things mean. But I just want you to sit with the description and the energy of this portal day, this gap day, right? This galactic activation portal day, which says today we'll call it a mantra. The mantra for this portal day activation is I channel in order to play, inspiring illusion. I seal the process of magic with the resonant tone of attunement. I am guided by the power of abundance. I am a galactic activation portal. Enter me. And what I found very interesting, right? So we're talking about play, which is very Aries, playful energy, right? Leo is very playful. I think of fire. And I also think of magic. I think of the energy of the unseen, right? The magnetic principle that things materialize based on our vibration, our frequency, our magnetism. And today, with the resonant tone of attunement, I think of attunement like a tuning fork, right? We got to be attuned to abundance. How? Through play, through being in the process of magic, through believing in magic, through understanding that there are principles in this world that are deeply ineffable, that cannot be understood by the logical mind. But children know how to play with the energy, right? They go outside and they create all kinds of, they talk to their, invisible friends, right? They make friends everywhere they go. So they're always in this sort of state of magic and play. And with Taurus having, the Venus, rather, the planet of love and money and abundance, having just ingressed into Taurus today, which it loves to be in Taurus, right? It's called, it's exalted. It's at home in Taurus. It really loves to be in Taurus because that's one of its ruling signs, Taurus and Libra, right? So for those Taurians out there, or those Librans out there, this is really your time period to feel the love, to allow yourself to receive in the manner that you give, right? And so this is about the law of reciprocity right now. And with this energy, so gap days, let's kind of go back and preface what exactly a gap day is. A gap day, again, a galactic activation portal day, it's when the veils are thinnest between the realms of dimensions. There are portals that are open, that opening up, just think of like a portal, like an opening. And because we're in a 10-day run here, right? We're in the middle of this opening. We're right in the center point, that we're in this sort of spiral of energy where all possibilities are being presented. The doors are open, right? The portals of energy are open. And it's going to be based on our consciousness. It's going to be based, this is what the Mayans were saying. It's like, look, if you can anchor in certain archetypes and certain mantras when these wave spells approach, then you can really harness the energy and really apply this to your life in a very magnanimous and very abundant way. And so we're going back now to the layering effect with Jupiter, or with, this is the planet of Venus right now, just having ingressed into Taurus. So what it's telling me is like, look, you can really be abundant. The more playful you are, the more in your state of magic of possibilities. The action you take when everything goes into Aries, which is going to be April. April's going to be a jam-packed month. It's going to be, 7 planets are going to be in Aries. So it's going to be very dynamic and moving forward. But right now we're still, right. We have our Mars, how we take action, still in Pisces. So you think of fire and water. And for me, I've had a lot of these great ideas and a lot of these great downloads, but my body's very tired. And I want to be more in this state of like meditation and calm. I don't want to take a lot of action, even though my mind is very active. My body's being how I'm feeling it personally. It's like, no, just slow down, be embodied, be in that Taurus mode. I guess I precog the Taurus. Taurus is slow moving. Think of, it's represented by the bull, right? So if you guys ever have lived on a farm or have been around bull-like energy, you can't really get bulls to move. They're going to move when they're going to move, right? They're slow. They like to chew their food slow. It's all about the senses. It's about how you taste, feel, sensuality. It's about food, drink. It's about being in your home, being very comfortable. That's why Venus likes to be at home there, because when you have abundance to provide these comforts, these material comforts, that's what very much Taurus is about. It likes to be in the body, it likes to feel good in the body. So during this gap day window, when we're again on day 5 of this 10-day gap spell, and there's I might do another video tomorrow on the next gap day sequence, because again, these are portals of energy that are open that the Mayans were the Mayans were telling us. Look, there's these sequence of energies, these waves of currents of energy that you can capitalize on, that you can harness. But you've got to understand it. You got to remember, this is where the ancestors are coming in, very much Saturn and Aries, right? Remembering that there's ways to work with these currents of energy. So we're moving forward now. We're going to be talking about the upcoming next 7-day cycle. So what you guys are looking at on the screen right now is today, March 30th. This is the symbol right here for Venus. Venus is in the sign of Taurus. Again, she loves to be at home in Taurus. It's all about second house matters. So it's really learning to take care of yourself. This might over the next, because this is happening, I believe, for the next 24 days. So for the next 24 days, Venus is going to want to feel beautiful because it's all about beautification. It's about the senses. It's about oils and smells and hairdos and beautification, right? So depending on where this energy is going to be transiting in your chart, I have Aries on the ascendant in this on this particular wheel. It's like following the zodiacal wheel from Aries starting to Pisces, just to keep it simple. So, but Taurus might be showing up, or this ingress of Venus in Taurus might be showing up in what, your 7th house of relationships, right? Which would also be a Venus house. So you might also be looking at your relationships. Are you in your most loving, sensual, romantic feeling relationship? Because also Libra is also ruled by Taurus, right? I'm thinking the 9th house. What are your beliefs about values, about what you find beautiful? Right? These all might be shifting and changing because we do have an approaching full moon coming up in Taurus, or Libra rather. And that's going to be on, we'll fast forward that. We'll look, I think that's April 2nd. So it's right around the corner. And full moons historically are about releasing. So this might be the time too that with Venus and Taurus, it's like, do you really love this person? Do you really love this job if it's 10th house, right? Career. Do you really love your standing in your community? Do you really love 11th house groups, your organizations that you're a part of? 12th house, do you really love your own inner landscape, your spirituality, your own psychic abilities, right? So depending on where this love frequency is showing up, it's going to be evaluating, because we do have this upcoming approaching full moon in Libra, which is also Venus ruled. And just so you know, with the archetype of full moons are about release, about letting go, about letting something be removed from your life so that it can make room for the new, right? Think of like the tides going in and the tides coming out, and it's going back and forward. With the full moon, it's illuminating what's no longer working for you, and what all 7th house matters, Libra matters. Right? So what relationships are you no longer aligned with? What is the moon showing where there have been relationship dynamics that are just no longer benefiting you or the other person? That there needs to be shifts in how you relate to other people, how you relate to yourself. This is all about relationships. So for the next 7-day cycle, you might really be focused on not only your relationship with yourself, Aries 1st house, but your relationship with other people. How do you connect to other people? Do you like other people? Do other people like you, right? It's about all our interpersonal relationships. And again, where this Venus and Taurus is going to be transiting, it's going to be really highlighting and focusing on what type of love relationships, what type of relationships need reevaluation, that you need to find your worth, that you need to identify maybe where you have felt unworthy, or you've been more in this people pleasing, right? And self-sacrificing for the others. Because Libra in their agreeable aspect is very harmonious. It's very loving. It likes to be in relationship, right? It likes balance and harmony. But sometimes it is disagreeable for him. Libra can be self-sacrificing, and Libra can always constantly be negotiating and diminishing themselves at all costs because they want peace in the relationship, right? And so sometimes that's to their detriment. And so this is the opportunity for all of us right now to really anchor in and find out, what relationships do we value? What relationships value us? And where do we need to continue to be aligned within these interpersonal relationships? Because Venus right here wants you to be comfortable. It wants you to feel good in your body. And so we have the next 24 days to really anchor in these practices. Again, I think of also right now the moon, when this is being filmed, is in Virgo. And Virgo's all about our routines, how we work and serve with other people, right? What we do in the way of earning an income, right? How we are of service. And so Taurus is going to be, it's like the taskmaster. And with this upcoming full moon, it's showing us where we're not aligned within certain relationships, within certain patterns, within certain ways of earning money, right? Generating currency, which is your energy. So this is a pivotal week to really, again, we still have Mars in Pisces, so you might find yourself tired, taking a lot of action in the unconscious realms, right? Doing a lot of deep inner work. Because when this energy is expressed in the month of April, coming into this is the month of Aries, there's going to be 7 planets aligned. You can see here, when Mars goes into Aries, it'll be 1, Neptune, 2, Saturn, 3, the Sun, 4, the Midhaven, 5, Eris, which is Mars' sister, 6, and then we've got Chiron in Aries, 7. So we've got 7 configurations in Aries. It's a very dynamic, very Aries colored month, if you will. But with Venus there being in Taurus, it's like it's going to be asking you to slow down, be in your body, take all this courage and this charge energy, but make sure to direct it in a way that's not going to burn you out, because this could be very much burnout energy. And so let's look at the transits for the next 7 days. So I went ahead and did a screen share. Let me see if I'm doing this correctly when I screen share. I want you guys to be able to see, hopefully. And you could take a screenshot if you want to of this particular energy. If this is what where the transits are going to be for starting on today, March 30th. So we can see that Saturn is sextile Pluto, and that's going to remain active through this next 7-day period. So there's some themes there that you can be looking at: restructuring, deep transformation, mature choices, long-term building, and pressure with purpose. Because Saturn is our long-term taskmaster and Pluto is our soul. It's the transformer. So the sextile is actually a cooperative energy. So you could really be making plans for the long term right now with this energy, especially with Venus in Taurus, because Taurus likes security. It likes long-term investments. It likes investing in things that matter in the body, that bring you joy, that heighten the senses, and that protect you, right? And so then we also have this full moon, April 2nd, the full moon in Libra. We already talked about that. It's all about relationships. So the themes are going to be about your relationships and your balance within them. It's all reciprocity. Emotional mirroring, partnership dynamics coming to light. Sorry, guys, I just realized that my feet are not on my grounding mat, so I got to ground. I can feel when I'm off. Because being on technology, it's great, but I can get zapped too much on tech, so I got to make sure to ground me and my crystals. I've got a black kyanite that I'm working with here to keep me grounded during this transmission. I can feel when I'm getting kind of zappy, so sorry about that. I had to adjust. Okay, so going into April 3rd, we've got Mercury in Pisces, which is going to be trining Jupiter. So Mercury is the planet of how we think. Pisces is our spiritual nature, and Jupiter is in Cancer. So that has to do with our home, our root system, how we feel safe, how we feel nurtured. And again, this trine energy is a harmonious energy. So there might be some deeply intuitive insights that you receive about your family, about your root system. You might be having deeply spiritual conversations with family. Jupiter's big picture thinking, it's expansion. It also rules Sagittarius, which is the teacher. So really having meaningful dialogue during this next 7-day period can really activate you and feed you in ways you didn't even know that you needed. And I'm feeling like it's feeding your spiritual essence, right? Your spiritual nature with family, and maybe with soul family. You might even be meeting soul family this week, since this is the big release week with the full moon in Libra. So you might be making room for other types of relationship in your life that are more spiritually based. Maybe leaving some of the superficial, because again, one of the disagreeable aspects of Libra can be superficiality, right? Just very surface type of relationships. And a lot of us want something deeper. We want something more meaningful. So you might be finding yourself less inclined to call that friend where you just really don't, you don't feel nourished. And this is a good time too to pay attention, especially within relationships. If you're trying to figure out who needs to go and who stays, watch your energy centers. Pay attention, especially for the next 7-day period, of who you feel when you're around them. Do you feel expanded and energized? And pay attention to those people that you feel depleted and low energy around, right? So this is also your body, Taurus, telling you who makes you feel good and who depletes you and might be draining. Like, think of like a succubus or a vampiric energy, right? When you want to make sure there's a law of reciprocity happening within relationships. because that matters. You know, the body is the first tell. The body will tell you who is healthy for who or what is healthy for it and who is not. So it's learning to pay attention, especially this next 7-day cycle, especially with this full moon energy, paying attention to what needs to be released. I'm hearing for some of you, it might be a frenemy you just can't seem to get rid of, or you know, somebody that you're just maybe have a karmic relationship with that you're looking to you know, shift and rectify. Sorry, I'm just going through my, come on, Mercury retrograde, get out of here. Okay. All right. So April 4th, we've got Venus in Taurus square Pluto in Aquarius. So Taurus is an earth sign, Aquarius is an air, and that squares usually are tensions that need to be resolved. So Venus in Taurus, of course, likes to feel safe, likes to feel in its body. It wants things sensuous. But Pluto in Aquarius wants change in what? All your groups, organizations, 11th house matters. And again, you might be attracting a different type of energy because Aquarius is different. It's unique. It's original. And Taurus is steadfast and fixed. And so this tension might be requiring you're going to start paying attention to maybe what you used to be attracted to, especially in terms of relationship or love or how you share money or resources. All that might be shifting. So for some of you out there, there might be endings within relationships where there's just too many power dynamics, especially with Pluto, where love doesn't have to be so hard. I'm hearing that some of you are choosing the easier path to love, that you want more of a harmonious expression because that's what Venus loves, is harmony. But if there's this square happening with Pluto, there might be some power dynamics that are happening within your relationships that you just don't have the energy for anymore. That you're just like, you know what? I don't want to give this energy, time, and space to this. It's too hard. It's too difficult. I want things to flow more easily and you know, to be more of a vibrational match to my relationship. So this might be, again, with this full moon release, you might want to do a ritual or hold a ceremony for all those people, elements, relationships, jobs, dynamics that are just no longer in harmony with you. And to be able to let that go, to release it with the full moon. And because it's air, you might want to write it down, right? Use Mercury and burn it or do some sort of release. But, you know, maybe I'm seeing to bury it because Venus is going to be in Taurus, which is the earth. So you can like bury the hatchet is what I'm hearing. Just whatever relationship dynamic, frenemy, discontent you had in any of your relationships, it's time to bury literally the hatchet. When you can do that with some sort of activation, action you take on a full moon, because that's why a lot of people do rituals on new moons and full moons. It supports that energy, right? And then April 5th, you've got Uranus in Taurus. It's going to be sextiling Mars in Pisces. So again, sextiles is a positive friction. Again, you're going to be waking up to where you've been. Pisces is the 12th house, is where you've bound yourself because of your beliefs. And so right now Uranus is saying, look, you got to change things up, change how you be in your body, maybe change up, you know, how you break old patterns is maybe how you work out. You used to have a workout routine where you used to do certain things for the body, and now your body's asking for something different. This is just an example coming in, right? It wants change. It wants to break patterns. So Mars in Pisces, it's like, you know, what spiritual practices can you be embodying more so in your body? I'm getting ready to do a podcast with a Qigong practitioner and a Silva method life living coach, meditation coach, that will help support and talk about the importance of being in the body and the mind, and how using meditative practices and then doing certain movements with Qigong, how that there's that mind-heart connection and the body that can really, again, help you with breaking old patterns and help you with healthcare issues you might be dealing with, right? So there's a correspondence there to the body and the mind and the spirit. So this might be a week for you to be really focused on that and take that class, right? Especially if you're looking to meet new community and want people that are more a vibrational match to your heart and to your mind, and you want to break old relationship patterns, then you might be wanting to do something different. I'm even seeing too, for some of you that take yoga, you might want to go to a different yoga studio, right? Just breaking the patterns of just changing locations of where you work out. Maybe don't change what you do, but change where you do it. And so that might be a shift in just meeting new community, right? Because it is about building community. especially with Libra. It's all about our relationships. And of course, April 6th, the sun in Aries is going to be squaring Jupiter in Cancer. And again, we squares are energies where something needs to shift. So sun is illuminating in Aries, this is the I am. Jupiter in Cancer, Jupiter's expansion, illuminating in Cancer, family. So who you are in your family dynamics, you might be shifting roles in how your family sees you. You might even be shifting responsibilities because Aries is also in Saturn right now. So you might be being asked to take on more responsibility. With Sun in Aries just likes freedom and likes to take action and do things and travel and move and just wants freedom. But there might be some responsibilities that are holding you back, that you might be responsible for certain family members or obligations that you've already set yourself up for. And maybe with this full moon in Libra, you're really reevaluating if you want to continue in that role, whether it be caregiver, whether it be life partner, whatever it is within your family that's no longer working, some shifts need to be made. And so you might be confronted on April 6th with what that looks like. There might be some action that you have to take to rectify. Again, it's kind of friction energy, but this energy is always happening for us. Again, we're in this 10-day gap sequence, which is also this invitation. It's like an opening, like a portal that just stays open for 10 days. And so pay attention if you want to look and to see what these aspects mean. Again, I would invite you to check out the 1320 Sync app, because it goes more into the dynamics of the spiral of the spell, right? They call it the wave spell for a reason. And so you might want to check out, from between now and the next few days while this gap window is open, to really pay attention to how you feel, because Venus is all about, and Taurus is about how you feel. And we also still have this Aries energy that's helping us really learn the I am presence. What do you want to initiate? What will feed your Neptune, your soul, Saturn, something, structures that you can start for the long term, that you can begin now, and hold the vision, right? How do you want to feel every day when you wake up? And really connect to that. Get into that practice, because we still have Virgo. The moon right now is in Virgo, and it's going to be ingressing again to the full moon in Libra, and then it's going to be ingressing at the end of the week into Sagittarius. So we're in this sort of earth, air. Oh, it's going to Scorpio too. Forgot that. Sorry, Scorpio. I'm a moon Scorpio. So I should know that. So it's going to be cleansing, reflecting in your relationships. With Scorpio, it's going to be alchemizing, taking action to transform dynamics within relationships. And then Saturn is your higher philosophy. What did you learn from your experience, right? What did you learn from not available? Hyper Solo Cast is not available. What's going on here? Okay. Sorry, guys. I'm getting distracted with technology. Get out of this. I think you guys can hear me okay. If you guys are here live, and to make sure you can hear me okay. I'm sure my volume is on, but let me just make sure, just in case. Yeah, I think you guys can hear me okay. All right, so I'm going to keep on going with this. What else wants to come through? Sorry, I got distracted with making sure that the logistics that you guys are hearing me. Just want to say hi to everybody that's here. We go ahead and take a sacred pause here. And just make sure that the video record. Okay, no hotkeys, audio set to default device. Default. Okay, we'll go there. Okay. All right, sorry guys. I just wanted to make sure that you guys are able to hear me. Okay. So moving onward with okay, yeah, that's what I wanted to look at. Here we go. So we're going to be moving, this is the March 30th. I'm going to be moving ahead now. This is the 31st. So you can see that the moon has ingressed into Virgo, and it's still going to be trining this your Aquarius, excuse me, Uranus energy and Taurus. So it's taking change on the body, our habits, our values, our money. We're really going to be feeling the need to shift things up. And so Virgo is like purification, clean your home, clean your house, clean your body, make space for the new. Because with this full moon release, it is asking you to release all kinds of relationship dynamics that just no longer make sense to you. Make sure you guys can see that. Okay. Yep. Perfect. And let me keep going here. Okay. And now we're moving forward to April 1st. So the moon has ingressed into Libra, and then it's approaching this full moon energy. So again, relationships are going to be highlighted, all types of relationships, depending on where this transit's going to be happening. And so it's really up for evaluation. What needs to stay, what needs to go, who needs to stay, who needs to go. Venus is going to help support you. It's going to help you feel this security within yourself, because Taurus is very independent, right? The first 6 signs tend to be more of the independent, and then the 6 latter signs are working with the public, with the other. So Taurus is very much about, what do you value now? And a good way to gauge that, I always to say, how do you spend your money? What do you spend your money on? Evaluation, if it's aligned with your values, is go check your bank account and see the last 2 months statements on what you spent your currency on, because that's going to point to what you value. And so this might be an opportunity too, again, because Venus is going to be co-ruling this full moon energy, is, are you aligned with not only what you value, but who you value? And what does that look like? What does that feel like? Because Venus in Taurus wants to feel good. It wants to feel sexy. It wants to feel beautiful. It wants to feel loved and harmonious. And so if there's any kind of dissonant relationships in your life that need to be looked at, that need to be focused on, that need to be seen, this is the time to do it. This is the time for this full moon to illuminate where you've been out of balance within your relationships and your values, right? So again, there's a harmonious energy happening with this, especially the South Node, what we've already mastered. And Taurus is going to come in to remind you, look, you already know what you need to do to balance yourself, what actions, what daily rituals and routines you need to take. So you're going to be given a supportive energy during this month to take action on those things that you find valuable, and to remove these relationships that are just no longer in harmony with who you are. Okay, so let's move forward now. There's April 2nd, there's that full moon. It'll actually be at 12 degrees. So again, opposing forces. What do you want versus what the other wants? How do you stay your individuated, uniquely authentic self while still in relationship, right? Mars will be in Pisces during that time. Mercury, how we think, will be in Pisces during that time. So this is a very spiritual time. It's a time to find compassion and forgiveness, especially since it's going to be, Venus is going to be coming to sextile this energy more and more and more. So it's about feeling what it feels like to forgive, and to feel it into your heart, and just to really let things go, even though it can be challenging because Taurus is fixed and it can hold on to things. But Pisces is about dissolution and letting things go. And this is what we've come to learn. So really harmonize and utilize this energy of release, especially with this full moon, to just let it all go. I like to work with the mantra, I forgive myself and everyone for everything. That was given to me by a dear friend who has since transitioned, named Billy Weber. Shout out to you, because that mantra has been really pivotal in my world, and how to navigate relationships, and how to really just put myself in check when my mind wants to keep up and create conflict. And this person pissed me off, and I remember when they said that to me in 1989. It's like, why? It's that fixed energy, right? It's like reminding you to never forgive or never forget. You can forgive, but never forget. And a part of me feels like, why not just forgive and forget? Just put the past behind you, right? Just to let it all go, let Pisces dissolve it back into the ocean. And this could be the practice, because it really is for you to do these things, not for them, for the person that injured you or you felt slighted by. This is for your sanity and your spiritual growth, right? This type of embodied compassion. So whatever that looks like for you, this is the next 7-day cycle to practice that. And then, of course, April 3rd, we've got the moon ingressing into Scorpio. And this is going to be trining this Pisces energy. So Scorpio, again, is about the transformer. It's the alchemist. It's turning lead into gold. So during Scorpio moons, it can be very dense. It can be very, like, you got to get it to the root, to the excrement, because it does rule the lower nether realms, excrement. It rules sexuality. And so, but it's going to be trining this this Piscean energy. So it really, again, is about, and we're still in this gap day window during this time. So really only allow yourself to focus on what you want to create, imagining your highest hopes, dreams, and wishes, not just for yourself, but for everyone involved in your life, because that keeps it integral and it keeps it in that state of gratitude. And it's a beneficial energy because it's also going to be trining Cancer. So if it can benefit all of humanity and all families everywhere, your creations, your feelings, your thoughts, your imaginations, if you're thinking not just for yourself, but for everyone involved, then that Jupiter will come in and support you with more benevolence, more luck, more expansion, and more feeling of connectedness. And so this is what this Scorpio moon could afford you if you can, to really only, it's an elimination moon. So you really want to eliminate or alchemize or transform those feelings, thoughts, habits. Again, it's about forgiveness and putting the past behind you and really just dropping old relationship dynamics that just no longer feed your spirit. And that could be challenging, Scorpio, but that's also the invitation to do so, because we're having a harmonious energy with that ability to transform all of our relationship dynamics, especially 12th house, old karmic patterns. You can break these karmic cycles now with family, with old lovers, with old co-workers, by really harnessing the energy of this trine, especially with the moon. Okay, then moving forward, April 4th, moon's still going to be in Scorpio, that the ability. But you can see too, it's going to be also, because Scorpio's ruling planet is Pluto and it's Aquarius. So you're going to be really faced with some dynamics within your groups, organizations, work, colleagues, friends. You know, there just might be some dynamics that show up for you, again, to afford, can you forgive? Can you heal? Can you see the other person's point of view, the other person's point of power? Because there might be some power dynamics that show up to invoke this type of healing with that person or group or collective that may not be in alignment with you anymore. So things might come to a head and you might really have to resolve, especially after coming off of this full moon, what relationships need to stay and what needs to be transformed and what needs to go, right? So this is really a potent evaluation process time. And then, of course, we've still got the moon. His ingress is going to be going to April 6th. It's the end of the 7-day cycle. The moon will now have ingressed into Sagittarius. It's going to be trining all this Aries energy. So now that you've released, you've alchemized, you've faced the shadow, you faced the relationships that need to go, you did the work to alchemize, and now Sagittarius is like, okay, now it's time to travel, to embody the wisdom. What did that relationship teach you? What did it teach you about yourself, about the other? How can you express this energy? How can you be more embodied? What are the life lessons? What's the wisdom behind this experience that I just went through? And how can I apply it to what? To myself, to my own now new creations, to long-term planning, to my spiritual creations, to my spiritual imaginings and my spiritual nature, right? My how I want to express myself for the long-term Saturn. How do I want to shine? Well, Sagittarius is going to come in and say, share your value, share your wisdom, right? You've just learned a lot coming off these relationship patterns. Now is time to travel and see new horizons, right? Think of Sagittarius. It's about expanding. It's about, traveling to new locations, to new spaces within your own psyche, right? Allow yourself to be free, because Sagittarius is all about the freedom expression. And so where were you bound in possibly old relationship dynamics, and now where have you freed yourself, where you can freely express yourself and be in all this embodied Aries energy, right? So that's the invitation. That's the contemplation that wanted to come through. And if you guys are here, thank you again so much. I hope that you found some value in this transmission, and please tune in, join in for more energy transmissions. We're doing a metaphysical hour. If you want to learn astrology, I've got some stuff on my bio. I've got some offerings, an app that you can purchase called Astrolingo, where you can teach yourself astrology. You can also check out some PDF books that are free for you, that are more astrology based. So please check that out as well. And yeah, I think I feel complete in this transmission. Thank you guys so much for being here. And check out, I will be recording this and putting on the recording onto my other, the tube for this longer transmission if anybody wants to see more of that. So thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you for being part of this conversation. And yeah, be well for the next 7-day cycles. Just really pay attention to your relationship patterns and dynamics, because there's going to be a lot coming up for all of us to be looking at. And it's a big release opportunity to let go of those old frenemies, to the old, ways we were in romantic partnership and work and love and money. This is all up for change right now. Major, huge transformation opportunity, but you gotta kind of face it and you gotta feel it. And so we're being given the support to do all that. So check out, again, if you wanted to look at the Mayan calendar system, check out the gap day. We're still in a 10-day gap cycle. So if you wanted to go look more into that, chat GBT it if you want. The Tolkien 10-day Mayan gap system and where we are in the middle of that. And it'll bring some more, I call it a layering effect. Another layer of the energy that we're all experiencing right now, and just gives added depth and value and just how to navigate these currents. So, okay, family, thank you so much for being here. So much love. I'll see you in the next transmission. Okay, bye. And again,